So this next section, we have a couple guest speakers. So we have reached out to people in the community who have specific interests about some of the big questions that we're facing today. The first person I want to invite up to ask a question is Chris Neumeyer. Chris is he is a powerhouse behind affordable housing. I think he is really pushing the work forward on the Sunshine Coast. And I really wanted to give him a chance to ask this next question because he has done so much good work in the past little while. So Chris, go ahead and ask the question. This question is going to go to Sandra first and then Kim, and you'll have 3 minutes to respond. Chris,
excellent.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much for that very kind intro, Matt, and thanks to VoiceLab for organizing this event. I've attended other events like this that they've done, and they always do an excellent job. So this was a question for the candidates here. The economic opportunities available to individuals under 40 today have been reduced by years of conflict, recession, and economic policies that have left behind all but the most affluent of our society. The under 40 demographic find that the Sunshine Coast lacks diverse career prospects to pursue, with approximately 56% of renters reporting that their housing costs are unaffordable. How do you propose to support the need for long-term employment opportunities with a livable wage for young adults on the Sunshine Coast?
Am I up first? I'm up first, I think.
Yes, I believe you are, Sandra.
Okay,
yes,
thanks very much. I love the question. And it's really I thought about it a lot and I read it over several times, and it's really a two-part question with a strong relationship or linkage between the two parts. The question really speaks to economic opportunity leading to a living wage that is linked to the ability to afford appropriate housing. So first, I'd like to talk about economic opportunity. Our economy on the Sunshine Coast is primarily a service economy. We shine each other's shoes and cut each other's hair. And I think from my perspective looking at it, we need to diversify the economy and encourage and develop industries and businesses here on the coast that are going to generate those higher skill, higher paying jobs. And I have always felt that there's tremendous potential to do that. We have perhaps more industrial zoned land in our community than anywhere else in the Lower Mainland. We need to work together with local government to develop a really aggressive program to attract businesses to our community. And we need to work to support the young entrepreneurs in our community to create opportunities to develop businesses. As an example, we have 150 acres of land surrounding the Seashell Airport. It's already zoned industrial. It's ideally suited to light industry and high-tech jobs. We have the benefit of a beautiful community, fantastic recreation. I think we really just need to market our community and go after these opportunities and create those jobs. I've always felt that there's really strong potential for that. And linking to that, affordable housing is a priority, but it's particularly a priority for people, young people wanting to invest in a home and raise their families in a home of their own. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm not an economist, but I understand that housing prices, along with everything else, is a matter of supply and demand. High demand, low supply equals higher prices. The opposite's also true. Higher supply will satisfy demand and prices will fall. So I think if I'm elected in the BC Liberal government, I would work with local government to ensure that the stock of housing is available to meet the demand. And I would incentivize local municipalities to get on with it and to get building and, not have 3 years of public hearings and open houses and things before any building actually takes place. The other issue raised in your question was about affordability of rents. And once again, supply and demand comes to play here. And I really believe that the advent of Airbnb and VRBO has really impacted availability of housing. When people can rent out a house, a second home, for $300 a day, 150 days of the year, they bring in $45,000 of income. That same property might rent for $1,800 a month, which over 12 months equals $21,600. I know that SCRD has done some really good work on the short-term rental issue. I think more work could be done, and I'm getting my warning here. I think at a minimum, we need to make sure those short-term rentals are on an even playing field with the long-term rental market. And I think we need to incentivize people by appropriate policies to make a rental, long-term rental, more attractive for those people with homes to rent. So I think my time is up. It is. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandra. Kim?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Chris. Within that question, you had the fact that we have a recession. We were already heading into a recession before COVID hit. I witnessed that. I get all the economic reports in my day job as a mortgage broker, but this recession was different. Most recessions, it hits the blue collar workers. In this recession, 60% of the job losses were women, mostly in low paying jobs. So when you have a recession that typically affects the blue collar workers, the way out is to build those big roads and infrastructure projects. But when it affects women, you have to build back differently. And we recognize that childcare is one of the best ways of getting women and parents back to work. And the double benefit of that is that when we reduce the costs of childcare, which some people are paying basically mortgage-sized childcare costs. So when we reduce those costs by investing into it, that enables young people to have more money to put towards their shelter costs. And as I mentioned at the beginning in my intro, I recognized that we were losing so many young people in our community because of housing affordability. And that's why I co-founded, and I'm the vice chair of the Workforce Affordable Housing Society, where again, we are looking to build housing that is based on 30% of incomes. We know that even our small business owners cannot pay the incomes that are required to allow their employees to be able to afford their shelter costs. So this is fundamental to building a more resilient community. I also am on the board of directors of Community Futures, where we support small business owners. We do business training, and we do business loans. In fact, we've been tasked with doling out the federal infrastructure funds for businesses in our community. Now, and I do know that Seashalt won the top rotten prize of having the largest number of people who were paying more than 50% of their incomes towards shelter cost. That is not healthy for our community. That is going to play on so many areas in our community in a negative way. And one of the things that the BC Green Party supports is a guaranteed livable income. In fact, in 2017, we had wanted to have a pilot project. So this was something that never came to fruition in the confidence and supply agreement. But a guaranteed livable income is one of the best poverty reduction strategies and equalization of wealth strategies that we could have for our community. And in areas where it's been tried, it reduces hospital visits, it increases graduation rates. Oh, my time is up. I could talk about guaranteed livable income a lot more.
Thank you, Kim.
Thanks.
Yeah, so thanks for that very packed question. A lot of issues related to affordability, the cost of living on the Sunshine Coast, the challenge with the employment circumstances here. The Sunshine Coast has gone through some major changes over the last while, and I think without getting too partisan, 16 years of not addressing housing situations has left us with a bit of a deficit to overcome. And I think we've made some very good, strong steps towards addressing affordable housing, towards addressing the cost of business, and by managing our COVID response in a way that supports people and families. So prior to the pandemic, our government did lower the small business tax by 0.5% from 2.5% to 2%. And that was something that the business community was asking for. I mean, it's not the answer to the specific question, but that's one of the elements that of supporting business. Something that was announced recently is that we will finally be getting high-speed broadband all the way up the Sunshine Coast. This is something that actually a colleague of mine running in North Island, Michelle Badchuk's been working on, and I hope she gets elected so that we can continue to do that kind of work, because part of what we discovered was that people working from home need to have the tools at their disposal in order to be successful. And broadband is obviously something that some of the remote communities on the Sunshine Coast have not been able to access. So I'm hoping that that contributes to better circumstances for businesses. And obviously the issue around affordable housing, we've made a number of significant contributions as a province to the Sunshine Coast to affordable housing. We need to do some more. We need to do much more. I had a very brief chat recently with the chief of Seashop Nation, who is actively pursuing opportunities for building housing. In fact, the province contributed to the Indigenous Housing Fund, which was, I think, historic, to provide funding for homes on the Seashop territory. And so it's really a broad range of policies that I think contribute to affordability and to the ability to conduct business. I think the largest single income tax or tax cut was the elimination of the medical services plan fee. That was a significant step towards making life somewhat more affordable. And so workforce housing and affordable housing are part of the strategy that we want to be able to continue. That the work that we started, I think, is showing dividends. Recent housing study for the Sunshine Coast was provided by the Ministry of Community Affairs. So we'll just continue working towards addressing this challenge, and I think we do so when we do it together well.
All right, thanks for that. The second question.
Oh, I'm allowed to interrupt you?
Sure.
There's one aspect of that I think I shouldn't overlook, and that is childcare. A promise we made in 2017 was to bring in a comprehensive childcare program, and it was a huge and significant investment in our communities. Like in dollar figures, it's about $8 million just in childcare programs and services on the Sunshine Coast alone. We want to expand that, and I think that's an important support to families, young families, as they manage, as we all manage together, to not just through the pandemic, but in the recovery as well.
And thank you, Chris, so much for asking that question.